Good evening, I'm Alistair Bruce Ball. It is Champions League Match Day 4 on Radio 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. We've got full commentary of Club Brugge against Aston Villa coming right up for you, with Villa looking to continue their perfect record in the competition so far this season. 3 games, 3 wins, including the famous one over Bayern Munich at Villa Park. 6 goals scored in the 3 games and none conceded so far. The 2 teams in Belgium in the tunnel, just about ready to go. Unai Emery has made 5 changes to his Villa side tonight. We'll get to that in just a second, but first, without further ado, let's say good evening to Chris Sutton, who's watching this one with me tonight. Chris, I think fair to say, given the next 2 games for Aston Villa in the competition, Juventus at home and Leipzig away, no letting up. So Unai Emery's made 5 changes, but they should keep pushing on in this competition, try and get themselves to 4 wins out of 4. They'll put themselves in a great position to finish in the top 8 and qualify straight to the last 16.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been a brilliant ride for Aston Villa in European competition. 5th in the new Champions League format, and you think another win tonight, just carrying on that momentum, crucial for Villa. It is a squad game. He has rung the changes this evening, so it'll be interesting to see whether Villa have the flow which they have done in the earlier games of the competition.
Let's give you the Aston Villa team then. Chris has just mentioned it as well. 5 changes from the 4-1 defeat against Tottenham on Sunday. 3 of the changes come in the back 4. Matty Cash is unavailable tonight, but Luca Dean and Pau Torres have both dropped to the bench. Diego Carlos, Tyrone Mings comes in for only a 2nd appearance of the season, and Ian Maatsen, signed for big money from Chelsea in the summer. He will start at left back just as he did against Bologna. Boubacar Kamara starts in central midfield, so Amadou Onana is one to drop to the bench this evening, and Leon Bailey comes in for Jacob Ramsey. So Chris, I've got it like this: Emi Martinez in goal, Ezri Konsa at right back, Maatsen at left back, Diego Carlos and Tyrone Mings the 2 centre backs. Boubacar Kamara on his way back to full fitness, only a 2nd start of the season for him, alongside Yuri Tielemans, the Belgian in the lineup, playing in Belgium tonight. John McGinn, Morgan Rogers and Leon Bailey in support of Ollie Watkins, with you-know-who John Duran waiting on the bench.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, it is about strength in depth and marrying up the European campaign and the domestic campaign. Villa losing to Tottenham heavily at the weekend, but they'll want to bounce back this evening.
It's a fairly sedate start to proceedings in Belgium tonight. So the 2 teams are just walking through a blue arch onto the pitch. We've got pictures of Emi Martinez, the Aston Villa goalkeeper, bedecked in green, just making his way towards the lineup position ahead of kick-off here. We'll wait for the Champions League anthem as well. Let's give you the Club Brugge team while we wait for that. So they start tonight 27th in this 36-team table. That is currently in amongst the bottom 12 teams. If you finish up there, that is the end of your European campaign for the season. There is the Champions League anthem. It is blasting out in the Jan Bredel Stadion. Full commentary on the way of Club Brugge against Aston Villa, and Club Brugge, who so far have won 1 game in the Champions League away to Sturm Graz. They won it by 1-0. They've lost at home to Borussia Dortmund by 3-0 and away to AC Milan in their last game by 3-1. Although early on in that game they did have chances. This is their team for this one. You'll certainly recognise the goalkeeper. 9 seasons in the Premier League for Sunderland and Liverpool. That is Simon Mignolet. Joachim Seys is the right back. Maxime de Kuiper, young Belgian international, at left back. Brandon Mekela and Joel Ordonez, the 2 centre backs. Kasper Nielsen, the Dane, alongside the young Swiss international Arden Yashari in central midfield. Andreas Skov Olsen, Christos Solis, former Norwich man, in the wide positions, with Hans Van Aken in support of the centre forward Ferran Jutgla. Anyone in particular, Chris, that you would pick out? I mean, Solis obviously played at Norwich.
Yeah, and I saw plenty of him at Norwich City. When they signed him, I think it was for the best part of 10 million euros. And Daniel Farke talked about him being one of the best prospects in European football for his age. Didn't quite work out. He ended up going to FC 20 and Fortuna Dusseldorf. But he has started the season strongly for Bruges, and that they do carry a threat. You mentioned the Milan game,
yeah,
and they started the game really quickly. They counter-attack very well, and that's something that Villa will have to be wary of this evening.
So John McGinn is waiting to shake hands with the captain of Club Brugge. That is the elegant, tall midfielder Hans Van Aken, who's got plenty of goals. This is his 10th season at the Belgian club. In his previous 9 seasons, he's hit double figures. So Aston Villa will certainly have to watch out for him. The referee is Tobias Stieler. First half of the game tonight is on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Then we're going to switch over to 5 Live. And following us tonight on 5 Live, we've got full commentary of Inter Milan against Arsenal, live from the San Siro this evening, in the company of John Murray and Matt Upson. Your 5 Live commentary today, you can listen to it alongside the final score graphics and the BBC video printer. If you want to do that, then you head to the BBC iPlayer, or you go via the red button and you click on the Champions League link. And now we will have a moment's silence ahead of this game, as we are doing ahead of all the European games this week, as we spare a thought for all the victims of the terrible flooding in Valencia in Spain. Those developments, of course, in Spain will have hit the Aston Villa manager Unai Emery particularly hard. Former manager of Valencia, very successful in Europe with them back in the day. Tonight, though, he is trying to get another win in the Champions League for Aston Villa. 3 wins out of 3. Them and Liverpool, the only 2 teams with a perfect record so far. Liverpool, of course, continuing theirs with the 4-0 win over Bayer Leverkusen last night. Can Aston Villa follow suit? Away to Club Brugge, and we are just about to get underway. So as I say, Inter against Arsenal, our 8 o'clock commentary on 5 Live and BBC Sounds tonight. And John Murray will keep you across all the big games in the Champions League tonight, some really important ones. PSG against Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich against Benfica, Barcelona away to Red Star Belgrade, and Brest, the French team, have started this competition really well. They're away to Sparta Prague tonight. But we are underway in Belgium. Aston Villa pretty much all in white for this one, playing from right to left as we look at it. And Club Brugge have a bit of Atalanta about them. They are bright blue and black vertical stripes, blue shorts and the blue socks with the black tops. Emi Martinez on the ball early on for Villa, well outside his penalty area, passes the ball to his right. Bruges quite happy to stand off Villa here, and Diego Carlos is able to stroke a pass into Yuri Tielemans, who's greeted with a chorus of boos back in his homeland, former Anderlecht player. So I'm sure he will want to rise to that particular challenge this evening. Diego Carlos with the diagonal, looking for the run of Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey, Chris, with possibly a little point to prove this evening, not been quite the same form this season that he was last season for Villa.
I think that's fair to say that. I think he's been slightly inconsistent. Yeah, I think the issue that Villa may have, there's a number of players who haven't had a lot of game time, Mings, Maitson and Kamara, so it'll be interesting to see whether they get up to speed and get up to speed quickly.
Aston Villa have lost the ball inside the Club Brugge half. We are a minute and a half in. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. One other early kick-off in the Champions League today. We'll keep you across that one as well. 2 teams sitting amongst the bottom 12 in the lower reaches of the Champions League table. Shakhtar Donetsk against Young Boys, who Aston Villa beat in Switzerland in their first game in this competition. Bruges bring the ball to the halfway line. The Ecuadorian centre-back, Ordonez, long ball controlled inside the Villa penalty area. Solis's cross is right across the face of goal. Oohs and ahs from the Bruges fans. Maatsen trying to bring the ball away for Villa. He's tackled and it goes out for a Villa throw. Chris?
That was some switch of play from Says to Solis, and Solis really clever. Little step over, goes past Konza and fizzes the ball, flashes the ball across the 6-yard line. And there are no Bruges players really attacking the ball. Good play from Solis, though.
Solis has already scored 1 goal in the Champions League this season, an absolute cracker in the win away to Sturm Graz, coming in from that left-hand side and whipping a shot across the goalkeeper into the far corner. Club Brugge enjoying a bit of possession inside the Villa half. Here's the young right-back Says, he's given it away. Maatsen with a little back heel and shoveled past to Mings. Mings clears up to the halfway line. Mekala steps forward to head it forward for the home team, and getting onto the ball is the Swiss international Yashari. Support from De Kuyper. De Kuyper's ball into the edge of the Villa penalty area. Intercepted. McGinn is there. He's captain for Aston Villa this evening. Ball played forward to Morgan Rogers. I think an offside flag up there, or the referee stopped the game for some reason here. Not entirely sure why. 3 minutes in. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. And we talked, Chris, about the importance of the game for Aston Villa and continuing this excellent start to the competition. Club Brugge, they're away to Celtic next, who will obviously come into their next game off the back of that fantastic performance last night. Then at home to Sporting, then they've got Juventus, then they've got Manchester City. This is a massive game for Club Brugge tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think realistically, they have to take something from this game if they harbour any sort of hopes of qualifying for the next stage. But for Villa, it's about, if they can get 12 points after 4 games, that would be a remarkable start to the Champions League. I was actually at the game at Villa Park against Bayern Munich, where John Duran's goal nearly took the roof off.
Aston Villa's 3rd appearance in the European Cup, first ever appearance in the Champions League. Winners back in 1982, of course, the famous Peter With goal against Bayern Munich. Made the quarter-finals the following season, knocked out by Juventus on aggregate, and here they are in the Champions League again. And as we've been saying, they've started extremely well. Sedate start to the game because Aston Villa at walking pace at the moment, inside their own half. Diego Carlos just waiting for players to come towards him. Then he releases the ball to Mings. Mings finds Maatsen, back to Mings. Mings just inside his own penalty area now, happy to come back to his goalkeeper Martinez, and Club Brugge again just back off. Yeah, Aston Villa's number
quite
1.
Interesting how Villa have set up. Rogers starting on the left-hand side, Bailey off the right, McGinn just playing in that withdrawn role behind Ollie Watkins.
Longer ball forward towards Watkins, headed away. There is Bailey in his role on the right, trying to work it onto the left foot, looking for a pass outside. It wasn't there. Plays infield to McGinn. Aston Villa come back into midfield. Boubacar Kamara gets a touch. Here's Konza forward in the attack, but he plays back into his own half. Diego Carlos holds both arms out wide, looking for options. Rolls the ball across to his left to Mings. Mings quickly gives it back to Carlos. Then the diagonal ball into the inside left channel is chased by Morgan Rogers. He won't catch that, and the ball goes behind for the goal kick. Matty Cash is missing tonight for Aston Villa, so is Ross Barkley unavailable for this one. But Unai Emery has certainly freshened things up, as Chris was saying, coming into the game without a win in the last 3. The draw against Bournemouth at Villa Park, where Evan Nielsen scored a very late equaliser. Here's Rogers looking for McGinn, edge of the box. Aston Villa appeal for a handball. The referee's not interested in that. Bruges play out to Says, the right back. He's given it away, and Maatsen intercepts. Villa then knocked out of the League Cup at home by Crystal Palace before going to Tottenham and losing by 4-1. Here's Carlos again at walking pace, just inside his own half, bobbles his pass across to the right to Konza. Konza down the line here to Bailey. Konza receives it again. He's followed back into his own half, comes back to Carlos, and Carlos again steady pace, bringing the ball out for Villa. Chris.
Yeah, and Bruges letting Villa come onto them more or less in a mid-block, as Rogers just drives on the inside there.
Rogers in the inside right channel. Ball's laid back to Kamara. Bailey starts a run. Konza doesn't release the pass. It comes to Kamara again. Van Aken is right in his face. Kamara plays the ball past him, looks for a 1-2 with Bailey, but Aston Villa forced back into their own half again. Extremely patient start, 6.5 minutes played. I actually watched them in their first game away to Young Boys, where they really, Aston Villa, sized up the opposition for the first half hour or so, sussed them out and then struck. Yeah,
I've got to say, I think this will be a tougher test than the one against the Swiss.
Maatsen to Tielemans, who's still getting the pantomime boos from the Club Brugge fans.
Yeah, former Anderlecht, wasn't he, Tielemans?
Yeah, Anderlecht before heading to Monaco, then Leicester. Now a regular in the Premier League. Here's Watkins across to Bailey. Bailey's clip ball into the penalty. I thought Rogers was going to get on the end of that. Mignolet comes out and grabs it on the first bounce. 7 minutes in, Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0.
It's very congested in that central area. Club Brugge narrowing up, and Leon Bailey off that right-hand side. We know he likes to come inside on his left foot and try to clip a ball in for Rogers.
Yashari is deep inside his own half for Club Brugge. Ordonez, the centre-back, plays to the right to Andreas Skov Olsen scored the winner for Club Brugge in the league game on Saturday. And after a fairly iffy start to the season, just 1 point from the first 3 league games, they've won 7 of their last 10. Now sits second in the Belgian league at the moment, Club Brugge. Trying to work it down the right-hand side, Skov Olsen, but the ball's got away from him. And it goes out for a throw into Aston Villa in the left-back position.
He's a lefty, isn't he, Skov Olsen, off that right-hand side, similar to Leon Bailey. Off the Villa right, he'll look to come inside, try and feed balls through to Jutgler. He's one of those, not really a back-to-goal striker. He's one of those who'll make little movements in behind the Villa centre-backs.
Chris Sutton with us here on Radio 5 Sports Extra and the BBC Sounds app. 8.5 minutes in. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Mekela, the centre-back for Brugge. The ball is given away by Jutgler, and suddenly Aston Villa with a counter-attack here. Ollie Watkins pretty much on his own, but he's one-on-one against Ordonez. Tries to run past him. Ordonez is strong. They go shoulder to shoulder. Watkins goes down, but he manages to get the ball back to his goalkeeper, and Club Brugge bring it away down the right. Says looking for the 1-2 here. Says chases that pass up to the halfway line. Maatsen in with a challenge. The referee says that's a foul. Does he say that's a foul?
Yeah, I think
yes, he does.
Back,
free kick, Club Brugge, yeah.
It was a foul. Gotta say, Ordonez, what strength against Ollie Watkins, shoulder to shoulder. It was a get-off. Watkins. And Villa just looked like they were going to get in. But quite a sedate start to the game. You see Watkins really direct there. Ordonez, the Ecuadorian centre-half, using his strength, brushing him aside.
Ollie Watkins yet to score a first goal in the Champions League. Can you remember yours, Chris? I was looking at Celtic. I'm going to say Ajax.
Yeah.
Could that be right?
Yeah, wonderful header. Really
Of course
broke
it was.
the crossbar, Bruce.
Coming up to 10 minutes played. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. So John Duran has scored in the Champions League for Villa. Watkins hasn't. Long ball pierces the Villa defence, but it's way too far for Club Brugge, and Emi Martinez is able to control it with his right instep just inside his penalty area and play the ball out to Carlos. Carlos to Konza. Konza back to Carlos. This time Svanaken comes chasing. So Carlos gets rid of it quickly, goes back to Martinez. Martinez comes jogging out of his penalty area. Plays forward to Diego Carlos. No pace in it at all at the moment. Brugge just happy to sit off Villa. Comes across to Konza. Solis moves towards Konza. Konza plays the ball up the right. Bailey fires a pass forward to Watkins. Now McGinn back to Bailey. Prods it infield to Tielemans. Tielemans brings it forward. 30 yards out. Left-footed shot is way off target. And the Club Brugge fans love that. And Tielemans allows himself a little smile. Goal kick for Club Brugge.
Yeah, the space just opened up a little bit. Tielemans picked the ball up 35 yards out. He's off balance as he strikes that ball left-footed. Balloons over the bar. Yeah, Villa not quite found the rhythm yet.
Simon Mignolet takes the goal kick short. Club Brugge up towards the halfway line. A little bit of a misunderstanding between two players. They left it for each other. Villa have given it away. And again, the pass is off target. Solis can't control it. So here's Tielemans right in the centre circle. And he plays back to Mings. This is a 31st consecutive season of European football for Club Brugge. So obviously regularly finish high in the domestic league. Plenty of experience in Europe. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Free kick Villa inside their own half. Konza's been tugged back.
Yeah, and they're pretty much a battle-hardened Champions League outfit. I think last season they were in the conference, but 6 out of the last 7 Club Brugge have been in Champions League. Top-level competition.
These two, Chris, could have met in the Europa Conference League final last season because they were both beaten in the semi-final. Fiorentina beat Club Brugge and Olympiacos beat Aston Villa, but here they are playing in the new look Champions League with Morgan Rogers inside his own half, just laying the ball off to Kamara. Kamara's low right-footed pass finds Bailey. Bailey lays it off, turns, runs down the right. Konza plays the ball across his own half to Carlos. Tielemans' first time pass goes astray. Club Brugge win it back. Come back to their right back, who wears number 65 on his back, Joaquin Says, who's a 19-year-old at right back, and Maxim de Kuiper, the 23-year-old, also an academy product of Club Brugge, at left back. The Ecuadorian Ordonez, the centre back, comes back to Mignolet, who's in dashing pink. The goalkeeper across to Mekela, under pressure from Bailey. Bruges trying to play out here. Villa close it down. It might run to Watkins. Nods it down here to the edge of the penalty area. Laid off. Rodgers with the first time strike, wide with his right foot, and it goes behind for the goal kick.
I think is it a goal kick or a corner? I think it may have taken a slight deflection. I've got to say, Mignolet puts Mekela really in the cart, fires a ball into his centre-back, who does well to try and get it under control, but all of a sudden Ollie Watkins is onto them. And Villa are half an opportunity there, and another opportunity now from the corner from Leon Bailey.
Well spotted on the deflection. It was Says who just got a right toe to the Morgan Rodgers shot. So first corner of the game for Aston Villa. Played almost 15 minutes. Villa very good on the set pieces. They're going to go short here to McGinn. McGinn slides a pass to Tielemans. Tielemans across to Maatsen. Whistle is blown, and the free kick is going to go to Club Brugge. What was that for?
Well, that was for a block from Boubacar Kamara. That was off the training ground once again. Bruce Austin McPhee. They tried a little passing routine, short corner out, and Maatsen stepping onto it to try and get the shot off, but Boubacar Kamara blocking the Bruges defender getting out to the ball.
Here's Bailey bringing the ball infield for Aston Villa. Tielemans under pressure, gets it back to Bailey, 25 yards from goal, feeds it through to Watkins, couldn't quite bring it under control. Mekela is there, makes a challenge, and Mignolet says, I'll take that off you, and collects the ball for Club Brugge inside his own penalty area. Simon Mignolet, who is now 36 years old. Sixth season at Club Brugge since joining from Liverpool. On the ball inside his own penalty area. A couple of 1-2s with Mekela. This is his 13th season, Mekela in the first team at Bruges. Left-footed ball downfield to Solis, who goes to ground, wins the free kick 30 yards out in the inside left channel. So an attacking opportunity for the home team.
Yeah, Villa holding a high line, and Club Brugge, Solis, one of the forwards, running in behind, and Diego Carlos really careless with the challenge there. Pulls Solis back. Solis asking for Diego Carlos to be booked for that challenge. I'm not sure he's allowed to do that, but an opportunity for Club Brugge now from the free kick.
Shakhtar 0, Young Boys 0, latest in the Champions League. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Inter against Arsenal is our commentary tonight, and tomorrow night full commentary from the Europa League of Manchester United at home to PAOK. Ruud van Nistelrooy in charge once more. The new boss Ruben Amorim with the big win over Manchester City last night for Sporting. Free kick rolled short. Solis plays it to De Kuyper. De Kuyper drives a low shot. Martinez flops on it inside the 6-yard box and makes a very smooth save for Villa.
Yeah, De Kuyper all of 30 yards out. I tell you what, you've got to be near perfect to beat the goalkeeper of the calibre of Emi Martinez.
Once again, the winner of the Lev Yashin Trophy at the Ballon d'Or awards ceremony, second season in a row for Emi Martinez. You can hear the home fans up at the moment in the Jan Bredel Stadion in Bruges. Tielemans caught late, and that's going to be the first booking of the game, and that is going to go to Casper Nielsen, the Dane, who looks incredulous at the referee's decision, but he picks himself up a yellow card.
I've got to say I'm with him. I don't think that's an overzealous challenge. I think he's slightly late. I think he can't believe it, can he? He's a little bit late. These things happen.
Yeah.
It's missed time. Tielemans goes down and screams.
He's looking a bit like, Casper Nielsen looks a bit like Christian off the Bake Off. Are you watching the Bake Off at the moment, Chris?
No.
You're not?
No.
You're not.
Yeah. Maybe get it on catch up.
Yeah. No, if you're watching your Bake Off, people who are watching that will know what Casper Nielsen looks like. The pencil moustache and the hair shaved short on the sides. As Villa start to build, play on Ollie Watkins. That looked unlucky. Like he'd zipped a great ball into Leon Bailey. It's just got away from him, and it's gone out for a throw in to Bruges. 0-0.
It was a high press there from Bruges, and Ollie Watkins drawing his centre half in, Ordonez, and switching the ball from left to right. Wasn't far away.
It's tiramisu on Bake Off last night. Oh, love a tiramisu. Here's Skov Olsen. Little pass in field to Joachim Says, the right back. Left-footed floated pass out to the left, chested down by the other full-back to Kuiper, down the line here to Solis, brings Konza on the inside, crosses to the far post, the header is won by Maatsen, flicked forward by Nielsen, the ball is loose just outside the Villa penalty area. McGinn is there first, plays it to Bailey, was under a bit of pressure but does well to get it back to Konza, and then Konza wins a foul, I think, from Solis just outside the penalty area, and Aston Villa will have a chance to clear their lines.
Yeah, it's good battle that, Solis and Ezri Konza. Solis has got at him a couple of times and got crosses into the box, and then Konza shapes to clear the ball down the line, drags it on the inside, gets his body in and draws the foul.
Aston Villa take their free kick. McGinn claims he was shoved in the back there by Yashari as he plays a pass at pace back to Carlos. Carlos back to Martinez. Martinez dribbles to the edge of his penalty area, flicks it to his right to Carlos. Carlos with the longer curling pass looking for Watkins. It's way beyond the centre forward and it comes straight through to Mignolet.
Just not on the same wavelength, not on the same page at this moment in time. The Aston Villa players, too many touches on the ball, not moving it quickly enough, not finding the rhythm in their tempo.
Here's Yashari, Club Brugge in the blue and black. Their manager Ricky Hayen, 44-year-old Belgian, has a floated pass over the top of the Villa back line, finds Solis. Carlos has his arms behind his back. Solis works it onto the right foot, drives in the cross, blocked by Kamara, and out for a throw to Club Brugge.
He's the one, Solis. Didn't see any of this at Norwich City, really. Good timing of his run in between centre-back and right-back. Carlos and Konza gets the ball down, tries to fire the cross a bit. He's looked the biggest threat on the field so far.
Here he is again, Solis, now 22 years old, joined Norwich as a very young man, growing in the game. Ball into the Villa penalty area. He's just beyond the run of Solis, who looks a real threat, into the arms of Emi Martinez, and the home fans, as you can hear, encouraged. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. We played exactly 20 minutes in the first half in the Champions League tonight, and tonight is a night that we've got 5 live Champions League. You can listen to the commentary alongside the final score graphics and the video printer. You can do that via the BBC iPlayer or the red button. Just click on the Champions League link. And Champions League match of the day back tonight, BBC One at 10 to 11, slightly later time due to further coverage of the US election results from last night and this morning, as Mignolet clears with his right foot. Mings battling for it with the centre forward Jutgla. Mings penalised for a foul. Free kick to Club Brugge.
Yep, Jutgla does well there, long ball into the striker, and Tyrone Mings a little bit rusty, gets too tight. Jutgla draws the foul.
Here's Van Aken, he's lost it to Tielemans. Opportunity here for Villa. McGinn plays it through to Watkins. Watkins working it onto the right foot. Oh, just wide of the left-hand post. Mignolet was beaten. Watkins quickly shipped it onto the right foot, hit it low, just off target.
Yeah, well, Van Aken really careless on the ball. Tielemans steals it off him, and that quick ball into Ollie Watkins, brilliant first couple of touches, and then he tries to drag the ball, wrap his foot round the ball and beat Mignolet at his near post. He was not far away at all. Unlucky from Villa, unlucky from Watkins.
Closest Aston Villa have come this evening. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Villa going into this one 3 wins out of 3 in the competition so far, against young boys, against Bayern Munich and against Bologna. Club Brugge with Yashari inside their own half. Run being made down the left-hand side by De Kuiper, looking for Solis. Konza has that covered. Solis gets a foot on the ball, but Konza is able to play it to Carlos. Carlos clears straight out for a throw-in to Club Brugge, attacking position on the left. Taken quickly, 2 balls on the pitch. What are we going to do about that? Ollie Watkins is making the point. One of the balls is hoofed off the pitch, and here's Ordonez, the centre-back, plays it to the right to Says, corner of the Villa penalty area, back to Ordonez, hits a right-footed shot, straight at Emi Martinez, no problems for the Villa keeper.
Plucked that out of the air, Emi Martinez easily. Ordonez venturing forward, getting a shot off from 25 yards, just seeing that Ollie Watkins effort again, blimey, that was closer than I first thought.
Martinez, long clearance downfield with his right foot out to the left. Maatsen's first touch, just keeps it in play with the second touch. And Morgan Rogers does well to stretch and control the pass that came flying at him. Back to Mings.
He hobbled off at the weekend.
Yeah.
Morgan Rogers. So that would have been a concern. His form has been excellent at the start of the season.
Yeah. And if you're not playing Morgan Rogers, it's probably Emi Buendia who is the direct replacement in that position for Morgan Rogers. Aston Villa with a big game in the Premier League as well, aren't they all? Because they are playing Liverpool at Anfield Saturday night at 8 o'clock, which might have something to do with the Unai Emery team selection here as well on the Wednesday evening. The 5 changes made for this one. McGinn trying to work a pass forward down the left. Brugge clear. Mings header down to Tielemans. He chests the ball down, then lobs a pass back into the Villa half, where it's controlled by Carlos, across to Konza. Carlos again, 10 yards inside his own half to Tielemans. Tielemans, clever little ball round the corner, releases Kamara. Kamara is running away from Van Aken. Chip pass into the box, might fall for McGinn. Can't keep the header down, balloons it over the bar, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Oh, what a chance that was for John McGinn. Really clever. Villa pressed high by Brugge, and Tielemans with a little reverse ball into Boubacar Kamara, who drives the space and clips a diagonal ball into John McGinn. He's just stretching with the header, 8 yards out, and heads it over the bar.
I thought that was a clash of heads. Tyrone Mings is going to get booked here, challenging for a ball just inside the Club Brugge half, and the referee, Tobias Stieler, says that Mings led with an arm there. He gets the yellow card. Complaints from his fellow centre-back Diego Carlos, and Stieler made it very clear who the man in charge was on the field. So Mings booked.
Unai Emery is not happy about that. I think of the thought process, that's just a coming together, and I think he's right. The referee took action.
No, I was just waiting to see if Carlos got booked as well. We didn't see the ref show another yellow card, but the Bruges player who was caught by Mings is still down. He is receiving treatment at the moment. We're 25 minutes into the first half on Radio 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds, and you've just seen the challenge again, Chris.
Yeah,
what do you reckon?
Well, he's using his arm to protect himself. He does catch, I think it's Nielsen who he catches, and that's unfortunate. It's an accident, but no, let's hope Nielsen's okay.
This fellow we're looking at on our screens right now, the manager of Club Brugge, Ricky Hayen, took over from Ronnie Dyler in March and led Bruges to the title. And you were telling me before the game, Chris, and I spotted this as well, previously managed Haverfordwest County in the Cymru Premier Division. That's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I don't know how they did that particular season. I think
they beat the drop.
Well, did they?
Yeah, I think they beat the drop.
Well, that's sort of relative success, isn't it?
They won the title last season with Club Brugge, and the way the Belgian top division works, they actually finished 4th at the end of the regular season, but then the top 6 go into playoffs, and then Club Brugge suddenly hit form in those playoffs and won themselves the title. He
was the youth team manager, I think.
Correct.
At Bruges. So.
Yeah. Bruges 0, Villa 0. Free kick for Bruges. It was Jutla who was caught by Mings. He's okay. He's shaking it off, and Club Brugge have taken their free kick. Ordonez, the centre-back, plays out to Skov Olsen on the right. Short pass down the right to Nielsen. His cross is blocked by Ian Maatsen, who's trying to win a starting place in this Aston Villa 11. Yet to start a Premier League game, because Luca Dean is the man who still gets chosen by Emery more regularly at the moment.
Yeah, well, strength in depth is important, but I suppose Ian Maatsen would have expected to have more game time. I mean, he wasn't particularly cheap, Bruce, was he?
35 million.
That's a few quid.
Played in the Champions League final last season on loan to Borussia Dortmund from Chelsea. Here's Yashari. Not too much happened in this game so far. Watkins shot for Villa, the closest we've come. Solis has looked dangerous for Club Brugge. He's on the ball again. He plays left to De Kuyper, who likes to get forward down that left-hand side.
Well, they like Yashari dropping in between the centre halves to make it a back three with their own possession. Push the full-backs up nice and high.
Your first Wednesday goal in the Champions League has arrived. Young Boys have taken the lead away to Shakhtar in the 27th minute of the first half there. Shakhtar 0, Young Boys 1, Club Brugge 0 Aston Villa 0. Inter Milan against Arsenal. Commentary from 8 o'clock on 5 Live and BBC Sounds tonight, live from the San Siro, and tomorrow night live from Old Trafford. Manchester United against PAOK in the Europa League. Carlos intercepts a ball forward by Brugge. Konza involved in a 50-50 with Solis, and the ball eventually comes off Solis, although Solis didn't believe it did. The throw-in's given to Villa, and you didn't really need to be an expert lip reader to realise what Christos Solis made of that decision. Throw in Villa.
Was he angry, was he?
I think he's disappointed, I would say, Chris. Frustrated. Throw in down the right towards Watkins. Does well to hold that up. Plays it back to Bailey. Bailey passes beyond Rodgers. Rodgers will chase that, but Sace gets there to it well before him. Back to his goalkeeper, Mignolet. Mignolet plays out to Mekela. Mekela's ball to De Kuyper. Back to Mekela again, just on the edge of the Club Brugge penalty area.
It's all a little bit tentative, though, isn't it? You know, from both teams, really. It's quite a cagey game. Villa, certainly, you feel there's lovely touch there from
Brilliant.
Sace.
Brilliant from Sace. Leapt in the air and flicked a backheel first-time ball to get Club Brugge on the move. The attack continues with Solis. Look out for Van Aken, number 20, who plays in the attacking midfield position. Solis shoots with his right foot, long way out, that's blocked. Yashari collects the rebound, plays it out to De Kuyper. Here is Van Aken. Van Aken to De Kuyper, edge of the box. Solis, clever little pass. Jutgla shoots, that hits the post. Emi Martinez might have got a touch to that. Club Brugge very nearly take the lead, and the ball is not out of play just yet. They have it wide on the left. Solis again, edge of the box, another right-footed shot. Martinez called into action again, down sharply to his left, and saves Villa.
Yeah, I tell you what, Solis really clever with the first pass to Jutgla. Said he's a striker, likes to run in behind. Snapshot. Yeah, I think Martinez may have got a touch. Cannons off the post, and then another good save. Solis right-footed this time, 18 yards out. Was finding the far corner, good pace on the shot, and Martinez saves Villa down to his left-hand side again. I said, Konza Solis, that battle.
Yeah.
And Solis getting the better of Konza in the opening half an hour.
It's amazing as well, isn't it, Chris? Talk about Solis arriving at Norwich a couple of seasons ago, very raw, and didn't quite work for him. A couple of loans to 20, and he was in the German second division last season. But here he looks a totally different player, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, Norwich held out a lot of money for him and had high hopes. He went to Norwich at a time when the club weren't performing particularly well, and maybe that affected him a little bit. Things didn't work out, but he's only 22. Yeah. Looks, he's quite short and stocky, has great pace.
Nothing wrong with that.
Certainly isn't. But the difference between you and him is he's
I wasn't talking about me.
He's pretty quick and accurate.
Konza to Diego Colos. Half an hour in, Club Brugge 0, Villa 0, and the game suddenly just burst into life there for a minute or so as Club Brugge really threatened. So Watkins has gone close for Villa, and Club Brugge striking the outside of the post. Solis testing Villa, and in particular Emi Martinez, who is on form so far tonight. Maatsen back to Tielemans. This is inside the Club Brugge half. Tielemans still getting booed by some.
They're trying to block off the passing lanes in the central area. The Bruges midfielder saying to Villa, do you know what, we'll let you have it out wide, but we're not going to let you try and play through us centrally. But Villa, Carlos there taking numerous touches. That's a good ball though.
Yeah, finds Morgan Rodgers, holds off his man, curling efforts just over the bar. Mignolet very calmly sort of let it fly. Did that one take a deflection, or is that going to be a goal kick?
Yeah, may have taken a slight deflection, but Rodgers drifting in off the left-hand side. Clever from him, gets the other side of size, holds him off. And he's not far away, a yard over the bar. Just seeing that Martinez save again. Brilliant save down to his right-hand side.
Yeah, the first one was from Jutgla, and that was Solis's clever through ball. The second one from Solis, the shot that came in from the edge of the box, where he went the other way to his left and made the save. It was a corner, deflected shot from Rodgers. So corner will come in from the right, packed 6-yard box. Leon Bailey delivers with his left foot. Konza looking for the flick on at the near post. Didn't quite get the touch he wanted. And it's headed away for a throw-in to Villa. So we've got 12 and a half minutes remaining in the first half. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Shakhtar 1, Young Boys 1.
The corner routines haven't worked too well for Villa so far this evening. 0 from 2.
Long throw in, different type of set piece, looking for Watkins, battles for it down by the dead ball line. Assistant referee says it's another corner for Villa, so let's see what they can do with this one.
Quite a long throw in, Bruce, not as long as Tommy Tonks from Tamworth.
What a name.
Well, did you see his throw?
Yeah.
Absolute torpedo in the FA Cup on Friday night.
Corner for Villa. Villa have 6 players in the 6-yard box. Watkins lurking just outside the 6-yard box. Mignolet being barged into by Rodgers. Low to McGinn, edge of the box. Chip ball towards the far post. Watkins up, powerful header across goal. He ends up in a heap on the floor. Club Brugge clear it to the halfway line. Maatsen chases back. Lobs an awkward pass up in the air, but McGinn copes with that brilliantly and just volleys it back towards Emi Martinez. Solis comes towards him. Martinez plays it to Mings. Mings in the left-back position. The referee stops the game. I think there might be a player. We're going to go all the way back to the other penalty. I think from the Watkins leap, there was a clash in mid-air.
Yeah, another short corner routine from Villa. I tell you, Watkins, he got some leap on him. Gets up tremendously well above Kasper Nielsen. And Nielsen falls awkwardly. Just seeing this Solis effort again. What a start to the game he's had. Quick shift there on the edge of the box. He always wants to get the ball on the inside, on that right foot, and fire shots off. And I tell you, Martinez, a couple of really important saves to keep Villa in it.
So it's Inter-Arsenal tonight from 8 o'clock on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Tomorrow night, Manchester United against PAOK in terms of the Premier League action this weekend. Plenty more Premier League commentaries for you. 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Big one at the bottom of the table. Wolves against Southampton. 5:30 we've got full commentary on Brighton, Manchester City. On Sports Extra on Saturday afternoon, the autumn internationals continue. England against Australia in the rugby. Then Sunday 2 o'clock on 5 Live, full commentary of Manchester United Leicester. Villa have given the ball away. What can Club Brugge do with this? Here's Jutgla. Jutgla plays it across to Solis, gets the shout on the outside from De Kuyper. De Kuyper's cross into the Villa box. Little flick header from Nielsen, cleared by Mings. Driven shot straight at Martinez. That came through a crowded penalty area, but he's dealt with it. It came from the left boot of Yashari, and Villa have been under a little bit of pressure last 5 minutes or so.
And caused their own problems there. Tyrone Mings with an errant pass, and all of a sudden Brugge throwing bodies forward. And Martinez, well, I think initially Mings atones for his error, gets back and volleys the ball away a yard out from goal. And as the ball falls to Yashari, it's a good strike, a really clean half volley, left-footed strike, and Martinez gathers at the second attempt. I think Villa have been sloppy. Mentioned the players' lack of game time. Mings and Maatsen and Boubacar Kamara, and just been slightly off it so far. Had enough warning signs from Brugge now, though.
Here's Tielemans, he's lost it now just inside the Club Brugge half, and this is sloppy end of the first half from Villa. McGinn battles hard to try and win the ball back for Villa. He's given away the free kick, but at least he's prevented the breakaway. Club Brugge take their free kick relatively quickly, but Villa back in numbers, and Skov Olsen plays back into his own half. Unai Emery won't be best pleased, I don't think, with the last 10 minutes or so from Villa. Long ball from deep is played by Mekela. Maatsen up, heads it down to Rodgers. Rodgers tries to beat Van Aken, doesn't do so. The ball runs to Jutgla. Jutgla smashes it out to the left as if he was shooting, looking for a pass to the wing. It goes flying past Solis and out for a throw.
That's one of the weirdest passes I think I've ever seen. I mean, he's absolutely fired the ball straight out into touch on the left-hand side. Would have caused Martinez one or two problems had he hit the ball goalwards that hard.
Yes. Kamara to Konza, under pressure in the right-back position for Villa. Club Brugge, I think, just sensed that Villa have come off it a bit here. Although Villa have now won the ball, and here's McGinn looking to release Bailey down the right-hand side. Work to do for Bailey, but he's up against the centre-back in Mekela. Little step over, corner of the penalty area. Lays it back to McGinn, turns, lines up a left-footed shot, comfortable save for Mignolet.
Yep. McGinn, little pirouette there, 25 yards out. He's under pressure actually when he gets the shot off from Mekela, but The shot, actually, Mignolet gathers that easily down to his right-hand side. A real lack of conviction with that shot from John McGinn. Pretty much sums up Villa in the first half. Lack of conviction. Feel there's so much more to come.
Definitely a bit of John Duran to come at some point, I reckon, for Aston Villa tonight. Club Brugge with the centre-back Ordonez steaming forward. Ball down the right for Sace. Just gets there in time, hits it into the shins of Morgan Rogers, and the assistant referee didn't actually signal whether that's a throw-in or a corner. Unai Emery is pacing, it's a throw-in, doesn't look happy. Solis is wide on the right, little ball forward. 1-2, gets it back. Solis again, deflected shot, ball loose up in the air, and Martinez catches.
Yeah, it's just drifting over from the left-hand side to the right there, Solis. Got that dynamism, hasn't he? Little give and go there with Skov Olsen. Gets the ball back, but Maatsen actually does well. Nicks the ball off him.
Shakhtar 1, Young Boys 1. Latest in the Champions League tonight. As I said, some other big games tonight. PSG against Atletico Madrid. PSG 4 points from 3 games. Atletico Madrid only 3 points. Bayern Munich have lost a couple of games, including one to Aston Villa, of course. They're at home to Benfica tonight. Mignolet clears with his right foot. Barcelona away to Red Star Belgrade. Here's Nielsen for Club Brugge. A whole host of them waiting to receive the ball on the left. Solis says, that's mine. Lofted pass away to the right. Maatsen heads it straight up in the air. Skov Olsen just lays it off here to the right back, Sace. Sace.
Right back, left footer, isn't he? Or should say he's 2-footed. Likes to come inside on that left foot of his.
Yashari goes wide to Skov Olsen. Skov Olsen's gone on the outside. Right-footed cross is too close to Emi Martinez. That's a very easy claim for him at the near post. And Aston Villa not hanging on as such, but 6 minutes away from half-time. Unai Emery, I think, will want to get them in and try and get things sorted a little. It's still 0-0.
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of Premier League managers complaining about fatigue. I've got to say, Villa, they do look slightly jaded and lethargic, but their squad should be strong enough and deep enough to cope. I mean, that was the dream for Villa, wasn't it, getting back in the Champions League?
Looking to finish in the top 8, first and foremost. That would be the absolute best thing to do. You go straight through to the last 16. If you finish between 9th and 24th, you then go into a knockout tie, 2-legged, to try and make it through to the last 16. If you finish in the bottom 12 teams, that is the end of your season in Europe. That's the way it is working this season. So there'll be 2 more group games still to be played in January. And Aston Villa's last game, of course, last of 8 group games, at home to Celtic.
Yeah,
who were brilliant last night,
Chris. The Chris Sutton derby.
Exactly.
Yeah, Celtic were excellent.
Yeah.
Last night against a Leipzig team who were doing pretty well in the Bundesliga. Not pretty well, very well.
Yeah.
That was a big scalp for Brendan Rodgers. Celtic didn't look jaded.
No, Shakhtar 2-1 up now on Young Boys. So they were 1 behind. They now lead 2-1 at home. Here's Tielemans. Still the boos continue. Low pass out to Maatsen. Drags the ball under his left foot. Lays it off to Rodgers. Pokes it in towards Maatsen. Well read by Skov Olsen. Risky back heel inside his own penalty area. He's given the ball away. And there's Maatsen to play it to Rodgers. Rodgers, again, looking for the give and go with Maatsen. Maatsen decides to hold on to it wide on the left. Tielemans plays back into the heart of midfield. Diego Carlos on the ball. 3.5 minutes remaining in a pretty uneventful first half so far. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Diego Carlos finds Mings.
There's no real purpose to Villa's passing, though. No real quickness or urgency. As they pass the ball with a purpose, limit your touches and manoeuvre that Bruges defensive setup around. Try and probe and find a little gap and slide a ball through, but the fact that Mings there 2 or 3 touches, Carlos 1, 2, 3 touches, and Bruges are set up and saying, well, we'll just shuffle across, we'll block those lines and you won't play through us.
I thought you were going to break into song there. Once, twice, 3 times. On the turn is Morgan Rogers, trying to make it happen for Aston Villa late in the first half. Sace sticking to him like glue. Rogers powerful though, difficult to hold back. Tielemans volleyed first time ball forward into the Club Brugge penalty area. Ordonez is able to let that roll through to Mignolet. Mignolet bowls it out here to Mekela, who's under pressure immediately from Bailey. Bailey blocks and the ball spins out for a throw into Club Brugge in the left back position. He's done that twice, hasn't he, to him, Mignolet?
I don't know what stitch me up in Belgian is, but there is a couple of occasions, and he certainly let Mignolet know about it. Not happy. Bailey shut him down well there.
Hope the Aston Villa fans enjoying their trip to Bruges in the northwest of the country. Beautiful city. One of the few they call the Venice of the North. Canal-lined Bruges. Bruges 0, Villa 0. De Kuiper, fresh-faced left back. Throw in towards Van Aken. Not enough on the pass. Kamara's in there, fighting for possession. Wins it for Villa. Tielemans plays to Mings. Last couple of minutes of the first half here in Belgium. Mings in the centre circle, just inside the Bruges half. McGinn holds the ball up, lays it off to Tielemans. McGinn's made a dart down the inside left channel. Tielemans goes wide to Maatsen. Maatsen back to Tielemans. Tielemans right-footed pass across to Diego Carlos, who's given it a big up and under. That's an awful ball forward, and it goes straight out of play for a goal kick to Club Brugge. What's going on tonight?
That pretty much sums up Villa's first half. That ball from Carlos, I mean, he scoops the ball about 60 yards into the air and 30 yards away from where he was aiming.
Not great quality. Last minute of the first half, Mignolet takes the goal kick short. Now Mekela's quite happy to have the ball there. McGinn comes towards him. Mekela's ball up towards the halfway line. Solis slips as he tried to get onto it. Clip forward towards Watkins. Watkins holds it up, plays it back to Tielemans. Tielemans, low pass looking for Bailey, not enough on it. De Kuiper read it, intercepts it. And here come Club Brugge with a late attack in this first half. Kasper Nielsen, the Dane, to fellow Dane Skov Olsen on the right. Little step over, support on the right from Nielsen. On the outside, right-footed cross into the box. Headed away by Carlos, second header from Tielemans. Joaquin Seys runs back for Atalanta, nods it forward. Rodgers' ball, Tielemans stretches, gets to it, keeps it for a second inside his own half, plays it to Bailey. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Kamara's curling pass, looking for Watkins, who drifted to the right. Watkins beaten to that, but the loose ball falls to Bailey. Solis comes back to do some defending. Bailey drops a shoulder, lets him run by and keeps the ball for Villa. And here's Tielemans, surrounded by Club Brugge players, plays back to Boubacar Kamara, 0-0.
And here we go again. Villa just rolling the ball around slowly. Too many touches. Bruges getting back in their setup and ready to pounce.
Ball played to Watkins. Good handful of Watkins Mekela has. Eventually he gets penalised for the foul. Free kick Aston Villa just inside the Club Brugge half. Watkins held him off 2 or 3 times, eventually wins that free kick. He's had the right-footed shot that was just wide. Villa's best chance of this first half. What can they do with the free kicks? Right in the middle of the pitch.
Normally try and work some sort of angle here. Be interesting to see whether Tielemans loads this one in.
Villa plenty of players forward, all their players forward. Rodgers drops back. Tielemans' face wreathed in beads of sweat. Ollie Watkins desperately trying to get the Belgians' attention, saying, either waving, saying hit it to me or bring it further forward. Tielemans takes a couple of deep breaths, rosy red cheeks, hands on hips, left arm goes in the air. Tielemans delivers, chips it into the Bruges penalty area. Mings tries to flick it on. Watkins wants this, chases it down to the byline. Watkins has it for Villa. Can they fashion a late chance here? Lays it back to Maatsen, curling ball in, headed away to the edge of the box, and Club Brugge will try and counter with about 5 or 6 seconds remaining in the first half. Jukla is tackled. The referee looks at his watch, blows his whistle and says, thank you very much, gentlemen. That will do. Half-time in Belgium, not just yet. Hang on a second, says the referee.
I wonder whether they're checking.
Oh, do you think they're checking something inside the penalty?
Yeah,
late check. Well,
checked,
yeah, VAR was checking something inside the penalty area there. They are happy, though, and now the half-time whistle blows. And at half-time, Chris Sutton, Club Brugge 0, Villa 0. Watkins with the one shot wide for Villa. And some late danger from Club Brugge in the first half.
Yep, I think Brugge have had the better opportunities, and I think Villa have Emi Martinez to thank for keeping them in it. It's been really flat from Villa. You do feel that it's far more to come in the second half. It's been lethargic. They haven't really connected in that final third, but all things being equal, not the worst drawing at half-time.
No, Aston Villa get themselves a point tonight. They would go to 10, level with Sporting and Monaco. Liverpool top this Champions League table on 12 points, and tonight on 5 Live and BBC Sounds we've got full commentary of Inter Milan against Arsenal, who are currently 8th and 9th in this Champions League table, both on 7 points. So Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0 at half-time. Second half commentary is on the way. Tomorrow night we've got commentary from Old Trafford of Manchester United against PAOK in the Europa League. Now United are still looking for their first win in the competition this season. Ruud van Nistelrooy will be in the dugout again. He has been asked today about United's struggles in Europe this season, and actually for the past decade.
It's a big question for me to answer why it didn't work over the last 10 years. For me it's important, and that's the reason why I arrived at the club, is to help the club and build to those years again where there were successful times in Europe. Obviously there was the Europa League final, if I remember well, with Oli. There was the Europa League win with Mourinho. So I think that's big European successes. So in that sense, it's always Manchester United is always there to compete in Europe, and that's what we want as well, and that starts again tomorrow.
But has it been quite hard for you to focus and for the players to focus? Because it's only human nature for the players to look beyond that and think, how am I going to fit in under the new manager? What's the new team going to look like? Has it been quite a challenge for you to keep the focus on these next 2 games?
Well, I think last week before the Leicester game and before the Chelsea game, I think it was even harder, because obviously things are changed quickly and massively. So to manage that was I think a bigger task. Now things sort of calm down, and we're focusing on the 2 performances where we were confident about and can build on. But again, it's about tomorrow that we play with the same passion and commitment. And then with the home support, and we can get to our best.
Ruud, just one more on Rasmus. I think he only had 1 touch inside the box against Chelsea on Sunday. That led to the penalty. He's done a lot of his work with his back to goal in recent weeks. How do you get the best out of him? Do you want him playing that deep, or do you want him in the penalty area?
I mean, the most goals are scored in the penalty area, so that's where we want to get our players as much as we can. And but it depends on the games. There's been games where we arrived many times, created many chances, and unfortunately we couldn't convert them all, and that cost us a couple of results. But I think you have to deal with the circumstances when it's needed to hold up, to him to hold up play and get players into third man positions and play on from there. He does a brilliant job as well. And of course, he's a guy that can change a game in a second, like the penalty moment. And you just need 1 or 2 in the box, and can be in with him and the others as well. So that threat we always have.
So that's our commentary game on 5 Live tomorrow night. Manchester United at home to PAOK. Kick-off at 8 o'clock. United looking for that first win in the Europa League this season after starting the competition with 3 draws. But following this game on 5 Live tonight, we're going to be taking you live to the San Siro in Milan for full commentary of Inter against Arsenal in the Champions League. Arsenal starting the night just outside the top 8 in this new look table after the draw away to Atalanta and the 2 home wins over PSG and Shakhtar. Inter are just ahead of them on goal difference, also on 7 points. There's no Declan Rice for Arsenal, but Martin Ødegaard has travelled with the squad, and it's a match Mikel Arteta is excited for.
My blood is pumping. This is the kind of game that we want to play, to come to Milan to play Inter that 2 years ago they were the final in the Champions League. They won the Scudetto last year, and to come here and show the team that we are in right now and the ambition that we have. And these are the games that we want to play, that's for sure.
with everything that's happened over the course of the last few weeks, whether it's the recent results in the Premier League, the news about Edu this week, coming here without Declan Rice, Chelsea coming up on Sunday, what do you describe this as? Test of character? What is it?
With everything that we've been through here 4 or 5 years, what a great place we are in, because we've been with problems of all kinds in this football club for many years, and we are in an incredible moment right now, and we are blessed to be where we are. You know, we're going to play this competition, we're going to play 70 games, we're going to have injuries, we're going to have defeats like many other teams, and it shows where we are and then how good we're going to be to react and be ourselves and to win the game.
So let's head to the San Siro. Former Arsenal defender Matt Upson is there for us, alongside our football correspondent John Murray.
Well, Ali, it is typically, almost stereotypically misty here in the San Siro. We're sitting high up in the stands, looking down on the pitch, but of course that fine mist is hanging under the floodlights, under the roof of what is one of the great places, certainly to watch football, and I would imagine to play football as well. Matt Upson sitting alongside me. We heard there, as I was talking to Mikel Arteta in the stadium last night, about the various problems that Arsenal have. They do have their captain, finally, Martin Odegaard, back, although I would be doubtful whether he starts this match. He's only had one training session. But, you know, I don't know about you, I feel that if Arsenal can get out of here tonight, still unbeaten in the Champions League, they will take that.
They would absolutely take that, John, to be honest. I think tonight's going to be a really difficult challenge with the team and the players that they have missing, Arsenal, and the kind of loss of momentum that they've suffered of late. You know, the defeats they've suffered in the Premier League, I think, have been really hard to take, and they're not looking razor sharp in front of goal. So this is going to be a big test against a team that's very good out of possession.
We'll get the team news shortly. What do you think they'll do? Certainly, I think particularly in midfield.
Yeah, I mean, you get the feeling that it might just be Partey with Merino sat in there as a 2, and then whoever plays in an attack. I mean, it'd be great to see, you know, someone like Ethan Nwaneri start for me, or he's certainly come on and play a part. I think he's bright. I think he's going to inject a bit of that youthful energy into the team.
That would be bold.
That would be bold, but it's the kind of moments where you're going to have to be bold, because you're running out of options. You've got so many players out struggling with injury. You've got no Rice, no Odegaard. So, you know, introducing something like that can sometimes give a bit of a boost to the group, if I'm honest. And a player like him, he's so talented.
And I presume Ben White, you would think, back at right back?
I think he'll slot into right back. I don't think Thomas Partey, that's his real strength to go into that position. I think bringing him into midfield and putting Ben White at right back, you know, I mean, the 2 centre-back partnership is superb, and it's going to have to be tonight, and you'd fancy Timber in that left-back position. So defensively, I think they've got a real solid unit still, and the goalkeeper in Raya, who's been performing well, is just, you know, the style of play, how they go about manufacturing a result here tonight. It's going to be really interesting how Arsenal do approach that.
He was very bullish, wasn't he, Mikel Arteta, last night when he was talking to us about, you know, this being a measure of what sort of a team, what sort of individuals you are, how you cope with periods like this.
Absolutely, and they're the challenges. They are you know, it's easy doing things really well when things are going well. When they're not going well, it really does challenge who you are as a group, what you're like, your mentality's like individually. And, you know, Champions League matches in stadiums like this against great opposition is really going to challenge the team. I think they've got the resilience. I think they've got a lot better at that. Big question mark for me is just the going forward and creating chances and scoring goals this season hasn't quite been as fluid and as top level as what you would have hoped, or probably Arsenal would have hoped, in front of goal. And I think that's going to be the big challenge to figure out. They've really adopted a different style of play. We've seen that with the longer passes. They go longer from the back. You have players like Kai Havertz, who has a real physical presence high up the pitch. So you're able to achieve a bit of success doing that. And he's going to need Saka to really step up. You know, a lot of pressure on Bukayo Saka at the moment to have to produce the goods for Arsenal.
But, you know, it's such a test, isn't it, to come and play Inter, who are the champions, the Italian champions, even though they're not top of the table. I don't think you'd find too many people here who don't think that they're the best team in Italy. They won it by a country mile last season. They've got a very strong squad, Champions League finalists back in 2023 against Manchester City. And both of these teams unbeaten in the Champions League this season, and neither of them have conceded a goal yet. And I know I was at Manchester City for the first match of the campaign for them and City when they drew 0-0, and Inzaghi, every time I watch his teams, he is right on it, isn't it?
Well, that was an impressive performance, wasn't it, at White City? I thought that, it was a defensive unit masterclass from Inter Milan in that game. And you talk about the depth of the squad. You could probably drop out two of their central midfield players, and they have players of a similar quality to bring in. You look at it, he's going to have to pick between Barella, Mkhitaryan, Fratesi, Zelensky, Kanaloglu, all in the middle of the park that are able to do a really good job. They've got experience. They're at that kind of peak age. I look through the age of the squad, even their strikers. You've got your Thuram, Martinez, and Arnautovic. They're all really experienced and have real know-how at this level. So Inter squad incredibly deep.
Yeah, and the other little factor tonight is they've both got really big matches this coming weekend. Arsenal at Chelsea, and Inter are playing Napoli, the team above them in the league.
Yeah, it's funny how they've both got those big games, but that game for Inter's huge. Napoli have been flying this season. They're top of the league, so it's a big match on Sunday. But all focus will be on this. This is the moment both teams really want that top 8 finish in this Champions League table, which is very difficult to get, and you need to win your match, certainly your home matches. So Inter will go all out tonight for me. And
before we hand it back to Chris and Ali for the commentary on the second half of the Aston Villa match against Bruges, we do have the team news. Arsenal's side is Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Timber, Havertz, Partey and Marino. Well, actually, hang on a minute. This is the way it's been written down by UEFA. Partey and Marino in midfield, then Saka, Trossard, Martinelli, and I'm thinking Havertz. Although this lineup's got Havertz in midfield. It may well be. He may well do that and have, he's been going to a 4-4-2 sometimes, and having just two up and playing a bit longer. It wouldn't surprise me if Havertz did sit in that midfield and he had a front three with Trossard in the middle. We'll have to wait and see. It does make sense, though, doesn't it? It does. For this opposition. It does, totally. And, you're playing against a 3-5-2. So, he'll have studied tactically what he feels will be best to set up with. That's going to be a big part tonight. Getting the shape and the tactical approach from Arsenal has to be spot on. Yeah, so Odegaard is among the substitutes for Arsenal tonight. Whether we'll see him or not, I'm not sure. And just having a quick look at the Inter side, it is as we expected. So it's that Zielinski, Çalhanoğlu and Fratesi midfield, and Thuram on the bench tonight. So Taremi and Lautaro Martinez are up front. So I think that selection certainly has an eye on Napoli at the weekend. So we're very much looking forward to bringing you the commentary from here inside the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium. I hope everything works tonight rather better than the Wi-Fi inside San Siro, but I'm sure we'll have an atmospheric evening to describe a little later. Ali.
Thank you, John. John, just to link it all together, am I right in saying that after tonight's commentary with Matt Upson, are you two doing Chelsea-Arsenal 4:30 on Sunday for us?
Yes, we're going to be seeing a lot of each other in the next week, because we're also covering England against the Republic of Ireland.
Lucky old you, John.
I know.
Lovely. Looking forward to it tonight. Thank you, chaps, over there in Milan. Inter against Arsenal tonight. Full commentary from 8 o'clock. And as John and Matt were explaining, both on 7 points apiece. Big game for those two, and big games coming this weekend. So, at half-time in Belgium, Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Not too much to shout about in the first half, but as we were saying, Chris Sutton, just before the end of the first half, because Villa have won 3 out of 3, no need to push anything or chase anything. Probably more important from Club Brugge's point of view. Just before they come out for the second half, Chris, I do want to ask you about Celtic's performance last night. You've played for Celtic in the Champions League. You've seen plenty of their football in the Champions League. People are raving about how well Celtic played last night, but I watched the second half. They were that good, weren't they?
They were. It was the best home performance I can remember in however many years in the Champions League. I can't. I mean, games I played in. Maybe you go back to Juventus, where that was a special performance. But the control Celtic had against a really excellent Leipzig team in the second half, and the way they saw it through, I thought was so impressive. And Celtic got a lot of flack after Dortmund, a hell of a lot of flack, and people chucking out things about the Scottish League, the strength of the Scottish League and what have you. I always felt it was a one-off. They'd started the season well, but that performance, I think, will certainly give the team great confidence. And I tell you what, they've put themselves in a really decent position in this Champions League table. And another win, and there's a fair chance they'll qualify in some way, shape or form.
And linking to tonight's game, Celtic play both of these two teams in these group stages, don't
Absolutely.
they? So next game for Celtic is Brugge at Celtic Park.
Yep, and with the performance which they put in last night, you can imagine Celtic going into that game with plenty of confidence and belief.
Second half is just getting underway in Belgium. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. From 8 o'clock tonight on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Full commentary of Inter against Arsenal. Tomorrow night we've got full commentary of Manchester United against PAOK. Neither manager has made a change to the two-team lineups. What have you spotted,
there may be a tweak, I think, in Villa's setup. I think John McGuinney played more as a number 10 in and off Ollie Watkins in that first half. He's just drifted out to that left-hand side with Morgan Rogers in and around Ollie Watkins, but Villa will be there. Normal 4-4-1-1.
Yep. Emi Martinez in goal. Ezri Konsa, Diego Carlos, Tyrone Mings on the yellow card. Ian Matson, the starting left-back tonight. Boubacar Kamara, Yuri Tielemans. John McGinn, as Chris was just explaining, has taken up position sort of wide on the left, just drifting infield now. Morgan Rogers off Ollie Watkins and Leon Bailey wide on the right. Ezri Konsa wants to venture forward early in this second half, but his pass is way beyond Bailey. That is not a good start to the second half, straight to Mini. We've seen some of the worst passing I've seen all season in this game.
And see, Unai Emery, is exasperated with that pass at the start of the second half. I'm sure he would have demanded more aggression at half-time. They've really lacked that, and mentioned not really passing with a purpose. Careless challenge there from Tielemans at the start of the second half. They've had such a great start to this Champions League, the new format back in Europe, a lot made of that, but it's important they don't lose this game tonight.
Aston Villa remaining games: Juventus at home and Leipzig away before the end of the year. Monaco away, who have started pretty well in this Champions League campaign, and they finish at home against Celtic. Club Brugge tonight: Simon Mignolet in goal, Joaquin Seys, Joel Ordonez and Brandon Meckel are the two centre-backs, Maxim de Kuyper at left-back, Kasper Nielsen, Arden Yashari in central midfield, Andreas Skovolsen, Christos Solis, former Norwich man, there on the flanks, Hans Vernaken, the furthest forward of the central midfielders, in support of the centre-forward Ferran Jutgla, who Club Brugge signed from Barcelona a couple of seasons ago. Aston Villa are all in white claret numbers on their backs, playing from left to right in the second half as we look at it. They've got defending to do, because in blue and black, Club Brugge are coming at them. And here's Jutgla's curling ball, and I think that'll be quite easy for Martinez just to pluck out of the sky the Villa keeper.
Yep, easy for Martinez. Not a good cross. I just wonder, Unai Emery, how long before he starts thinking about making a change or two. Morgan Rogers has looked off the pace and leggy, and John Duran, you mentioned him when he came on, changed the game, the dynamic of the game against Bayern Munich. He's one of those players you just cannot take your eye off, and I'm pretty certain he would have expected more game time this season than he has had.
Diego Carlos feeds the ball to Konsa, 10 yards inside the Club Brugge half. Konsa has to play back to Carlos. Carlos is closed down. Forward it goes to Watkins, just lays it into space. Rogers runs onto it. He's being chased by Yashari, challenged, and the ball goes out for an Aston Villa throw on the right. All the reaction to tonight's Champions League football will be in the Football Daily podcast for you on the BBC Sounds app. Steve Crossman in charge of that. You'll hear more from Matt Upson, of course, after the Inter-Arsenal game. Chris on this one, and Mark Albrighton will be part of that as well. And I'd be amazed if many of our listeners aren't already subscribed to Fantasy 606, Chris, but our podcast is a new episode out tomorrow.
Yep, already recorded, yeah. Some, so, I mean, great sudden death we had.
Yes, Mark Foster, 6-time gold medalist at the Swimming World Championships, Tottenham fan, came on and played sudden death against Dave.
It may be wise to explain what sudden death is.
It's our little quiz game, isn't it, that we used to play on 606, now play on Fantasy 606. Ball forward towards the edge of the Aston Villa penalty area is brought down by Skov Olsen, but he's forced away from goal by the Villa defenders. Little step over from Skov Olsen, plays it back to the right back, Says for Narken, back to the right. Skov Olsen looking to head to the byline. McGinn does well, just holds him up and goal kick Villa.
He's not getting round John McGinn.
He's a brick.
Is he? Yeah, he's got a sizable rear, John McGinn. And Skov Olsen throws a little step over. McGinn uses his strength.
Right, Aston Villa took their goal kick, and now Tobias Stieler, the referee, has blown his whistle. And what's he giving here? He's marching into the Aston Villa penalty area. Oh, it's Emi Martinez hasn't accidentally... They're saying handball. You know what's happened? I've seen this happen before. This happened at Arsenal before. Emi Martinez is going to take the goal kick. They don't think the whistle's been blown. I think one of the Villa players, Mings, is going to touch this with his hand. He's touched it with his hand. He's going to give a penalty.
That's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? Martinez has put the ball down to take the kick. He's passed it right-footed to Mings, who scoops the ball up with his left hand and pops it back. I mean, it's crazy from Mings. Absolutely crazy. From Tyrone Mings, what is he thinking?
The referee confirms that Club Brugge are going to get a penalty in the most ridiculous of circumstances. Chris, I remember this now. It was either last season or the season before at Arsenal, and someone got away with one. They did that, and they weren't penalised for it. They got away with it. But this time, Tyrone Mings either didn't hear the whistle, didn't think the game had properly restarted, has literally just put his hand on the ball under no pressure, and he's gifted Club Brugge a penalty.
That's a brain freeze from Tyrone Mings. Absolute
Why
stupidity.
Why don't you even touch it with your hand?
It was need. I mean, why? Why? Needless. He was under no pressure.
Emi Martinez is an expert penalty saver. Hands for Narken with his right foot straight down the middle, scores for Club Brugge. And Aston Villa and their fans cannot believe what has happened there right at the start of the second half, because Tyrone Mings, just not thinking for a second, has handled the ball, didn't realise the game had restarted. It was rolled to him by Emi Martinez, handles the ball under no pressure at all. Unai Emery thumps his head on the back of his comfortable seat in the dugout here in Belgium in frustration, because Aston Villa are behind. Van Aken doesn't miss from the spot, and it's Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0.
Yep. Sheer stupidity from Tyrone Mings. Gifts the penalty. He slots it in well, Van Aken, as cool as you like. Strides up to the ball, goes down the middle. Martinez dives to his right-hand side. Maybe Bruce, it's the goal which kickstarts Villa, gets them into a bit of life, a bit of urgency in the game. They have been miles off it, and now Bruges have something to hold on to.
Yeah, Club Brugge with one win in the competition already. If they can get themselves another, take themselves to 6 points after 4 games.
I would love to ask Tyrone Mings, what was he thinking?
He just doesn't think the game has restarted, Chris, does he?
But he must have. He must have known.
I know.
Martinez pops the ball out to him. What does he think has happened?
And even if you don't, why take that risk? Why not just control the ball with your foot and kick it back?
It's not like he was under any great pressure from any of the Club Brugge forwards.
Crazy. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0. You're listening to it on Radio 5 Sports Extra, and you can always listen to us on your smart speakers as well. Just tell them to play BBC Radio 5 Live. Always available on the BBC Sounds app. Listeners will join us on 5 Live shortly as well. Aston Villa find themselves a goal behind. And the highlights tonight, the Champions League highlights, so you're going to have to watch this incident. Match of the day, 10 to 11 BBC One, or on the iPlayer, the highlights start at 10 o'clock. They're 10 to 10:40 on the iPlayer, but live BBC One at 10 to 11.
It was like he was playing bowls, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just
picking a bowling ball up, and rolling it back to Martinez.
You do not get more of a gift of a goal than that. I mean, that is just an absolute present for Club Brugge. They lead Villa by 1-0, but as Chris Sutton has just been saying, might that just spark Aston Villa into life. Solis fouled inside his own half. Rodgers frustrated. Free kick for Club Brugge. Aston Villa at the moment heading for their first defeat in this competition. Unai Emery just cannot believe what's happened.
Yeah, and I mean he's worked miracles at Aston Villa. You can see his frustration. He's bubbling over. He's not happy about something. Maybe the award of the penalty. He may be saying, we're just seeing it again, Martinez pops the ball out to Mings. What? He picks it up and pops it back. I mean, it's stupidity. What he has done is he gives the officials a decision to make.
Yeah.
And there was absolutely no need for him to pick the ball up.
Like I say, Chris, I do remember, I'll look this up after the game, it happening at Arsenal. I'm sure it was at Arsenal. I think in a European game as well, and the penalty wasn't given that time, even though exactly the same thing happened. But this time Aston Villa have been punished. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Club Brugge leading through that penalty. They lead Aston Villa by 1-0. De Kuyper's left-footed cross in towards the far post, intercepted by Maatsen, and behind it goes for a corner to the home team.
If there's two ways they can go about this, Villa, they can feel sorry for themselves, or they can roll the sleeves up and graft and try and get back into this game, work hard. I think we're going to see a substitution from Villa. I think Duran stripped and ready to go on.
John Duran is going to be thrown into action very soon. He's going to have plenty of time to try and have an impact on this Champions League game. Club Brugge have not won in their last 14 games in Europe against Premier League opposition. They lead at the moment. Corner for them, headed on target by Kasper Nielsen. No pace on that. Ball bounces once. Martinez dives to his right, makes the save, and just bowls the ball out underarm to Ezri Konsa. The Hans van Aken penalty separates the two teams. Shakhtar Donetsk still lead Young Boys by 2-1. Here's Kamara on the ball for Villa, jogging forward.
It's the same thing though.
Yeah.
They're just pondering. Villa are ponderous, I should say, on the ball. No pace to the passing. No real incision.
Rodgers trying to turn away from Yashari, holds off Yashari, has a couple of nibbles at Rodgers. Rodgers, great pass into Watkins inside the penalty area, just couldn't get the ball out from under his feet to try and get a shot on goal. Club Brugge clear. Konsa under pressure. Tobias Stieler, the referee, says that's a foul on Konsa. Free kick for Villa, foul by Solis.
Yeah, it's better from Morgan Rodgers, just on the half turn, got away from Yashari, who's had a really decent game for Club Brugge, just sitting in front of their back four, breaking the play up, doing things simply, but he gets away from him, fires the ball into Ollie Watkins, who can't quite manoeuvre the ball out of his feet.
So John McGinn is the man to come off for Aston Villa. 57th minute of this game, and John Duran is going to replace him. So Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0. Aston Villa still looks slightly stunned by what's happened in this game. I know that listeners to 5 Live are going to be joining us shortly. John Duran is on. We're getting a close-up of Aston Villa goalkeeper Emi Martinez, who still looks relatively stunned by what's happened. Aston Villa wait to take their free kick. This one's going to come from deep inside the Club Brugge half. Austin McPhee is already delivering some instructions ahead of the set piece to some of his players, but Duran is on, and it is McGinn who has been taken off. So Duran and Watkins on together.
And Rodgers will go out to that left-hand side where John McGinn started the second half, and will Duran offer some clout for Villa.
Tielemans' ball into the edge of the penalty area. Ball is volleyed away. Tielemans gets a second go. Mings leaps, nods it towards Watkins. Mings gets another foot on the ball. Bruges managed to scramble it away. Kamara wins a 50-50 in the middle of the Bruges half. Does well to hold onto the ball for Aston Villa. Then he's knocked over in the challenge, and Aston Villa get themselves another free kick.
Just a bit careless from Club Brugge since they've scored the goal. Villa pushing them back. They've made the substitution. Kamara then winning the free kick. Ishari really careless there. with the challenge.
Yeah.
Another chance for Villa to load the ball into the box, get the centre-backs forward.
Full commentary on Inter Milan against Arsenal to follow on 5 Live tonight. If you want to listen to the commentary alongside the final score graphics and the video printer, you can do that via the BBC iPlayer or the red button on your television. You just click the Champions League link. Tielemans waiting to take the free kick. In fact, it's going to be Bailey with his left foot. Awful delivery. Easily dealt with, smash clear into the Villa half. Tielemans has to go racing back, powerfully heads the ball back towards his goalkeeper Martinez, who backs off into his penalty area, and Aston Villa have to start again.
Just a terrible lack of quality from that free kick from Leon Bailey. A real lack of quality standing out this evening for Villa. I don't think I've seen an insipid performance from them like this season.
Here come Club Brugge again. Skov Olsen, lofted ball into the middle of the Villa half. Bailey's back there and heads it away. 1-2 from De Kuyper. Back to Solis, central position 25 yards out. Here's Van Aken. Van Aken does well to shake off Duran. Solis again. Aston Villa got to be careful here, trailing by 1-0. Solis dummies a shot with his right foot, looking for a free kick. Van Aken picks up the running, plays it to Jutgla. Cross to Says on the right. Skov Olsen likes to get it on that left foot. His cross is deflected. Kamara heads it away. Watkins wins the initial battle, then loses the ball. And Club Brugge regain possession on the halfway line. They're leading Aston Villa by 1-0. Frankly, comical goal conceded by Aston Villa. If you have just joined us on Radio 5 Sports Extra, it was an Aston Villa goal kick. Don't think Tyrone Mings realised the game was underway. Martinez kicked the ball towards him. He bent down, stopped the ball with his hand, played it back to Martinez. The referee gave a penalty because he had to give a penalty because the game was already underway. Here's Mignolet on the ball for Club Brugge. So we've got half an hour to play plus added time. Club Brugge leading Aston Villa by 1-0. And Villa have got to step this up. They've got to lift the levels of performance and intensity to get themselves back into this game. The ball is with Mignolet again inside his penalty area. Side-footed pass. Van Aken is deep here. Lays it off into the left-back position. The ball is curled down the touchline and it goes out for a throw-in to Aston Villa, which Konza is waiting to take. He does take. Finds Kamara. Kamara back to Carlos. Here's Konza. Konza turns inside the Club Brugge half. Back to Carlos again, and Carlos goes back to his goalkeeper, Emi Martinez. So Aston Villa's 100% record is under threat at the moment in the Champions League. Liverpool topping the table, 4 wins out of 4. Aston Villa going into tonight 3 wins out of 3, but find themselves behind in bizarre circumstances in Belgium. Here's Mings. Mings cross to Maatsen. Maatsen up towards Watkins. Good turn from the centre forward, but good defending from Ordonez too. Blocks his pass. Tielemans looking for a quick ball forward to Watkins again. Headed away. Van Aken plays it to his right. Looking for the 1-2 with Says. Van Aken still on the ball inside his own half. Yashari back into his own penalty area. Ordonez to goalkeeper Mignolet, across to Mekela. Club Brugge dealing with this well, and Mekela's ball out to the left.
Wasn't it? Better press from Aston Villa and Leon Bailey, nearly intercepting, but you can see Club Brugge got a bit of a swagger about them now. Confidence has grown the longer this game has gone on.
Here they come down the right hand side. Club Brugge inside the Aston Villa half. Chip ball. Jutgla lays the ball back. Shot driven towards the Aston Villa goal is blocked by Tyrone Mings and goes behind for a corner to Club Brugge. They lead Aston Villa by 1-0. We're in the last half hour of this game, and if you are just tuning in to the action in Belgium tonight, once Club Brugge have taken this corner, we will try and explain to you exactly what has happened at the start of the second half for Villa to concede the goal, because it was utterly bizarre. Well worth a watch on Champions League Match of the Day, BBC One at 10 to 11 tonight. Let's deal with the Brugge corner first of all. Comes in from the right. Martinez stretches, catches the ball. falls on the floor and immediately gets to his feet and bowls it out underarm and sees plenty of space here for Leon Bailey to run into. John Duran is already on the field in this second half for Aston Villa. 5 changes made by Unai Emery at the start of the night from the team that lost 4-1 at Tottenham on Sunday. John McGinn has come off in the second half. John Duran is on. Tyrone Mings plays the ball back to the halfway line. Yeah. I mean, Chris, can you try and explain to the listeners what on earth happened with the goal?
Well, I can. It's just sheer stupidity from Tyrone Mings. Martinez knocks the ball out to him, and he just picks it up and pops it back and gives the referee a decision to make. And I don't think the referee has any other choice really but to award a penalty. Stupidity of the highest order. And now Villa, who have had such an incredible start to this Champions League campaign, did Unai Emery not say halfway there in terms of points wise, but this would be a surprise defeat if Club Brugge hang on.
Right, Aston Villa on the ball inside the Club Brugge half. Watkins and Duran are front two now. They can't find Watkins there. That was Tielemans' ball. Joaquin Seys, the right back, intercepts for Club Brugge. Martinez off his line quickly.
Yeah, I thought the flag has gone up.
Yeah, Martinez clears. It was offside. But as Chris says, start of the second half, Aston Villa have a goal kick. Tyrone Mings, the only reason can be, I mean, it is, as you said, Chris, a complete brain freeze. He doesn't think the whistle has been blown. Emi Martinez rolls the ball towards him as if he's taking a short goal kick. Mings bends down, stops it with his left hand. I mean, you wouldn't see a handball like that in an under-5s game, you know, under-6, like kids level. Morgan Rogers is now coming off, double change being made by Villa. Referee had absolutely no choice, saw what had happened, blew the whistle and gave Bruce the penalty. Hans Van Aken scored the goal. So Tyrone Mings is coming off having made that error. Pau Torres is coming on. Morgan Rogers has come off. I'm not surprised he needs a rest. He was an injury doubt coming into this game, and Jacob Ramsey will replace him. 25 minutes to go in Belgium. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0. Tyrone Mings, 31 years old, extremely experienced footballer, only his second appearance of the season tonight, and just I bet he's probably never done that, Chris, in his entire career before tonight.
He might have done when he was 3.
Well,
maybe.
Yeah, under 4s. Maybe you would see it under 4s, not under 5s, because they've learned by
then. Mings has had a minging evening. Bruce, hasn't he? Oh, dear me.
Yeah, it's going to be a sorry way for Aston Villa to lose the game. For our 5 Live listeners who've joined us in the second half, Chris, Aston Villa haven't been at it at all, though, have they, in the game?
And I think that's the bigger issue, of course, that everybody will go back to that moment in the game. And that's why Club Brugge are ahead, but Villa haven't offered anywhere near enough in an attacking sense. John Duran on now, and Ramsey to freshen things up and give them fresh legs and impetus, but Club Brugge playing the better football still.
Aston Villa with Kamara, flicks it forward onto the chest of Bailey. Bailey over, hits the pass through the middle, looking for Duran. It's beyond him. It comes back to Club Brugge's experienced goalkeeper Simon Mignolet. Aston Villa all in white, claret numbers on the backs of the shirts. Club Brugge in the blue and black vertical stripes, but it's Villa feeling black and blue at the moment. And we've got a quarter of the game to go, and we've got full commentary on Inter Milan against Arsenal live from the San Siro tonight in the company of John Murray and Matt Upson. Full commentary from Old Trafford tomorrow night in the Europa League, Manchester United against PAOK. Here's Yashari for Club Brugge.
Yeah, well, Villa bringing Duran on, gone with 2 up, and it's a flat 2 up, and they're not. One of the centre forwards has to attach themselves to the holding midfielder. Otherwise, Club Brugge have an overload in the centre of the park, and Ollie Watkins and John Duran are not doing that well enough. Van Aken getting on the ball and dictating the game.
Jacob Ramsey since coming on wide left. Bailey stayed wide right. Front 2, Chris has just mentioned. And in central midfield, it's still Tielemans and Kamara. Tielemans on the ball now for Aston Villa. Club Brugge started the night 27th in this Champions League table, 1 win and 2 defeats, leading Aston Villa by a goal to 0. Diego Carlos creeping forward into the Bruges half, onto Tielemans. Wide it comes to Ian Maatsen, who's got the start at left back tonight. Maatsen takes it down the left hand side. Skov Olsen doing the defending for Club Brugge. Comes back to Pau Torres, who's now replaced Tyrone Mings. Cross to Kamara, 40 yards from goal in a central position. Sweeps it to his right low and finds Konza. Konza to Bailey, and Bailey's going to have a little run at Maxim de Kuiper, the Bruges left back. Right-footed, low cross into the near post, intercepted. Chance for Club Brugge to clear. Pass into midfield. Centre forward Jutgler is back. That was Solis, in fact, who controlled it and laid it off. Long ball, thumped down the left, chased by Solis. Torres there first, and he gets it back to Emi Martinez. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, where was this Solis at Norwich City? I mean, fair play to him for getting his career back on track, but he has been a threat all evening.
Here's one for Watkins to chase inside the Bruges half. He's outnumbered, chests the ball down. They take the ball off him, and Mignolet thumps it clear. Club Bruges goalkeeper, former Sunderland and Liverpool man, all in dazzling pink for Bruges. His clearance ends up at the feet of Diego Carlos, but it is slow, soporific stuff from Aston Villa at the moment.
It's like walking football when they're in possession. Said it all game. That's been the pattern. You think Villa, not one in the last 3?
Yeah.
This would be 4, and it's not going to get any easier at the weekend, is it, for them?
Liverpool away Saturday, 8 o'clock kickoff in the Premier League. Here's Torres to Tielemans. Just over 20 minutes to play. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0. So Villa facing first defeat in the competition this season. Will still find themselves in very good shape. Next couple of games at home to Juventus and away to RB Leipzig before the end of the year. Kamara loses possession inside the Club Brugge half. Solis has been the danger man. He's running away from Konza. He's into the Villa box here, chops it back onto his right foot, lays it back to the edge of the box, and the left-footed strike is powerful, but over the crossbar from Skov Olsen. It'll be a goal kick to Aston Villa.
Yeah, Solis does really, really well. Gets away from Konza, shapes the shoot on that left-hand side, or actually fire across, and chops inside and rolls a beautiful back to Skov Olsen, who on the edge of the box, he can just stride onto the ball because of the weight of the pass, and he should be doing much better with that. Yard or two over the bar. I think Solis is coming off. Is he?
No, he's coming for a drink.
Not coming over for a drink, but they are making a substitution.
Chemsteen Talbi is going to come on, another one of Club Brugge's academy products. A 19-year-old Skov Olsen is coming off. The Talbi on, Skov Olsen off, into the last 20 minutes of the game. 5 Live, Sports Extra, BBC Sounds tonight. Champions League football, and Aston Villa trailing by a 1-0. Van Aken, the goal scorer from the penalty, the utterly bizarre penalty that Club Brugge won at the start of the second half. Pau Torres bringing it forward has lost it. Sace trying to dribble out of his own half, has the ball taken off him by Ramsey. Watkins is wide on the left. Watkins fancies a run. Sace comes back, gets a foot in, nicks the ball, clears it with his right foot. He's given it away again. And here's Ramsey, who just lays it back to Maatsen. Maatsen, 35 yards out, back to Diego Carlos. Carlos, central position to Konza. Konza wide to Bailey on the right. Unai Emery wants more urgency, applauds his team from the sidelines. Bailey to the corner of the penalty area. Left-footed cross, swung into the far post. Easy one for Sace to head up in the air. Maatsen wins it. Left-footed volley, just dipping over the bar. And behind for the goal kick to Club Brugge. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0.
You haven't seen much of Maatsen on the left-hand flank for Aston Villa. Speculative effort there on the volley. Mignolet had it well covered. Got to say, Solis going forward has been excellent for Club Brugge, but also has worked ever so hard defensively, doubling up there with De Kuiper when Leon Bailey was driving down that Villa right-hand side.
Here's De Kuiper trying to get away down Villa's right. Club Brugge's left. Kamara wrestles with him. De Kuiper wanted a free kick and doesn't get it. Club Brugge still leading by 1-0. Shakhtar Donetsk 2, Young Boys 1 in the other early kickoff in the Champions League today. We're with you through until 10 o'clock with 5 Live Sport this evening. Then Gordon Smart will pick up continued reaction to the US election that took place overnight and into today. All the football reaction in the Football Daily podcast for you on the BBC Sounds app. Steve Crossman will host that with Chris on it, Matt Upson and Mark Albrighton reacting to tonight's scores. Bailey chasing a ball down the right, maybe a chance for Villa, cross into the near post, too close to Mignolet, and he grabs it.
Real lack of quality there. There's a wonderful ball from concert over De Kuiper, and Leon Bailey was in on that right-hand side of the box along the byline and just floated the ball into Mignolet's hands.
Club Brugge working an attack down the right-hand side. That is the substitute, Talby. Has a run at Maatsen. Maatsen gets a foot on the ball. Talby lets it go out of play for a throw-in to Club Brugge, who are just over 15 minutes away from a first win over a Premier League team in UEFA competition in 15 games. Manchester City, the last visitors to this stadium before tonight. They beat Club Brugge 5-1 in the Champions League group stages, beat them 4-1 at the Etihad as well. Here's Yashari, left-footed ball. He's got that wrong, it goes straight out of play.
I've got to say, he's had a really good game though. Yashari looked energetic when he sat in front of the back four. They're actually dropping in. He's dropping in as the third centre-half at times for Club Brugge now. Aston Villa have gone with two central strikers up top.
Unai Emery just had some close-up shots of him during that last passage of play, getting very, very exercised in the Aston Villa technical area. Christos Solis, the former Norwich man, now at Club Brugge, his first season at the club, is coming off to a standing ovation. Kasper Nielsen as well. We've been saying it all night. Christos Solis has been not the goal scorer tonight, but a real danger man.
No, absolutely. He was a Greek tragedy at Norwich, but looks like a Greek god. Bruce at Club Brugge, been really lively on that left-hand side for them. Carried a threat. Good start to the season for him.
Hugo Vetlesen, Norwegian midfielder, comes on. Bjorn Meyer, Dutch defender, the other one on for Club Brugge. They lead Aston Villa by a 1-0, and Villa rather tamely just slipping to a first Champions League defeat of the season at the moment. John Duran's not had a look in really since getting on the field, and we've seen some absolute magic from him all season. Aston Villa have to try and get him into the game somehow.
And I think it's been put out there about, Duran and Watkins don't play together too much, and maybe you're seeing the reason why. They haven't really linked up at all. They don't play close enough together, get on the side of the ball, and seem to have that understanding.
Aston Villa potentially had a chance to nick a loose ball there inside the Club Brugge half. Everyone left it to each other, and Club Brugge have possession again. 14 minutes to play, plus added time. Inter against Arsenal, our second Champions League commentary of the night, on the way from 8 o'clock this evening. Here's Mignolet, ball at his feet. Club Brugge's goalkeeper.
Let's hope Arsenal have a bit more energy than Villa have had this evening.
Here come Club Brugge. There's one for Talby to chase. Ball into the penalty area. Sace is onto it. Danger for Villa here. Torres tries to close it down. Right-footed shot, well off target from Bjorn Meyer. Got himself into a great position. That was danger for Villa. They've survived. They still trail by 1-0.
Yeah, I wondered whether that goal would have stood. Would they have been able to finish it off? Maybe an offside, but I tell you, they deserve the lead. They've been slicker, they've been better. I think they've been hungrier than Aston Villa.
13 minutes to play. 5 Live, Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0. Tielemans fires a low ball into the feet of Duran. Laid off to Kamara, running away from Yashari. That's a foul, and that is a yellow card, in fact, for Vetlesen, who made the challenge. The referee shrugs and says, I'm sorry, I've got to give a yellow card because Kamara's getting away from you there.
Yeah, not quite getting up to the speed of the game, Vetlesen, as Kamara gets the wrong side of him. And can Villa work something from this free kick?
Set piece has not been great either, have they, Chris, tonight?
That's what Austin McPhee, that's what he's paid for.
Yuri Tielemans now wearing...
Said before, it's from a central area, probably 35, 40 yards out. Normally try and work an angle, have a better crossing position.
Tielemans holds his left arm in the air, booed by the Club Brugge fans. Little header from Duran, can't do anything with that, glances it towards Mignolet, who just collects it.
But that's the whole point about trying to create more of an angle and maybe hit a diagonal ball in. Nowhere to go, straight ball, knocked down, straight to Mignolet.
Mignolet clears with his right foot. Maatsen tries to control it. It runs to the centre forward Jutgler, who chips it down the line to Talby. Maatsen is back, makes amends. Low pass from him down the left. Ramsey Plays it back to Pau Torres, almost down by the byline on the left-hand side inside his own half. Uses Emi Martinez. Club Brugge back off, drop towards the halfway line. And Diego Carlos, the centre-back, comes rumbling forward with the ball at his feet.
It's still all so slow from Aston Villa, and you think we're getting to the stage where there needs to be a bit of desperation in the play. It hasn't been there all evening. This is a performance which we haven't seen too many times under Unai Emery.
Slightly jaded, tired performance. The manager made 5 changes ahead of the game. It's not worked, although saying that, the only goal they've conceded was a freak goal, but definitely an error of their own. Complete brain freeze from Tyrone Mings. Duran's won a free kick in the middle of the Club Brugge half. It was played up to him, and Mekala was struggling to handle the Colombian and has fouled him and given Aston Villa the free kick. Another change or 2 coming here for Villa. Kostan Nedeljkovic is coming on for Diego Carlos, and Nedeljkovic is the 18-year-old Serb who's made 5 appearances so far this season. Emi Buendia, another former Norwich man, is coming on for Ollie Watkins, who's getting a break ahead of the Liverpool game on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I said the Villa front two, Watkins and Duran, wasn't quite working out. 2 similar strikers, hadn't linked up at all. One of the strikers that had to drop in, neither of them did that, hence we'll see Buendia playing a bit of a withdrawn role just in and around John Duran.
Yuri Tielemans, former Anderlecht man, getting booed every touch he takes. Club Brugge leading Villa by a goal to 0. Here's Nedeljkovic, the teenager, in his bright white Villa kit. Wide on the right inside the Bruges half. Links up with Buendia, tries to get it back to Nedeljkovic. It's loose. Laid off to Nedeljkovic again, edge of the Bruges penalty area. Wide to Bailey, on his left foot. Cross deflected into the near post. Falls at the feet of Yashari, who brings it out of the penalty area from the left back position, plays it upfield. Jutla tries to bring it under control, falls over, tries to win a cheap free kick. Referee's not buying that. Buendia twisting and turning with his back to goal, outside of his right foot with the pink boot, slides a pass across to Pau Torres, and finally a bit of Villa pressure building. Buendia tries another clever little ball through the lines to Ramsey. Another one here in towards Duran, trying to turn. He was going to ground. He slaps his hands in frustration. He's lost the ball, and Club Brugge have it with their centre forward Jutla.
Yeah, he's good with his back to goal, isn't he? Duran just lost his footing there, backed him well. Mekala.
Disappointing performance so far tonight from Aston Villa. Closest they've come, as far as my memory serves me, the Watkins shot in the first half, which just went the wrong side of the post, which had Mignolet beaten. That's it, Chris, I think.
And Club Brugge have certainly worked Emi Martinez much harder. A couple of really important saves in that first half from Martinez.
Villa put Bjorn Meyer, one of the Bruges substitutes, under pressure. All he can do is knock the ball out of play for a throw. And there's urgency from Unai Emery. It needs to be replicated by his Villa players. Time is running out. 8 minutes plus added time remaining in the Jan Bredel Stadion in the picturesque city of Bruges. But Aston Villa trailing by a goal to 0. Kamara looking for Duran. The pass is beyond him and it comes through to Mignolet.
Look, and maybe it's lack of game time from both players in that situation. Kamara and Duran, but just not on the same page, just not at the races this evening. But maybe, look, Unai Emery will sort of look back and reflect a lot of changes this evening for this game. Thought that, understand it's a squad game, but the performance level just hasn't quite been there.
And they've already got the 3 wins in the bag. That is the comfort, I guess, for Aston Villa.
I think we understand his thinking. I mean, the start to the Champions League campaign has gone better, much better than expected. And players need game time to find that flow, to find that rhythm.
7 minutes remaining in this game plus added time. Ball through, Meyer will chase it. Martinez off his line, clears from the edge of his own penalty area. Offside flag, I think, might have gone up against Meyer. So we'll restart the game with an Aston Villa free kick. Club Brugge leading Villa by a goal to 0. They've taken that free kick. The ball is with Ezri Konsa. Champions League highlights on the iPlayer from 10 o'clock tonight. Champions League match of the day with Mark Chapman, 10:50, 10 to 11 on BBC One. All the reaction in the Football Daily podcast on the BBC Sounds app tomorrow morning. John Duran chasing a ball inside the Bruges half. Ordonez, the centre-back, holds him off. Duran blocks his pass forward and it goes out for a throw-in to Club Bruges.
They've been a decent centre-back pairing. Ordonez and Mekela. Youth and experience.
Yeah, Mekela in his 13th season in the first team, over 450 appearances for the club. Ordonez in his 3rd season here, the Ecuadorian, just 20 years old. But they've certainly kept Villa at bay. They were looking very smart, the Club Bruges players. When they arrived off the bus, they came with a sort of club baseball jacket on in black and white. It's pretty fetching. Leading Villa by a 0-0. Van Aken's penalty, crazily given away by Tyrone Mings, who just put his hand on the ball under no pressure whatsoever inside his own penalty area, because I guess he didn't think the game had restarted. Here's Tielemans.
Well, I think you just stop after didn't think.
He didn't think, full stop. Pau Torres forward to Ramsey out to Maatsen on the left. Tielemans chips a ball into the inside left channel. Ordonez comes charging across, volleys it away with his right foot. 5 minutes plus added time remaining, and Club Bruges comfortably holding Villa off here. Buendia's given the ball away. Van Aken plays it up towards the halfway line, prodded with the outside of the right boot by the centre forward Jutgla to Yashari, the Swiss. Yashari's deep, hanging across to the far post. Martinez reads that, stretches back and plucks it out of the sky.
He said he's had a good game, Yashari. Villa's issues this evening, they haven't really been able to penetrate that Club Bruges back line. Haven't got little balls slid in behind. Everything has been in front of, was credited Ordonez and Mekela for the way that they've performed, but everything in front of them, they can see everything. They haven't been stretched.
Top of the Champions League table, Liverpool 12 points after the win against Leverkusen last night. Sporting 10, Monaco 10, Dortmund 9. Villa look like they're going to remain on 9 unless Boubacar Kamara can do something about it with that left-footed shot which skids wide of Mignolet's left-hand post.
Yeah, just persistence from Kamara. Opened up all of a sudden. Drove the space to 25 yards out on his left foot. It's well wide in the end, 5 or 6 yards wide of the left-hand post of Mignolet.
Tobias Stieler, German referee, wants Club Bruges to get on with it from the restart. Mignolet takes the goal kick short, receives the ball back, plays a pass out to the left. It's over, hit beyond Meyer. It goes out for a throw-in to Aston Villa. 87th minute of the game. Club Bruges 1, Aston Villa 0. The Club Bruges penalty early in the second half. They did strike the outside of the post in the first half. Martinez got a touch on the shot. He was tested a couple of times in that little spell of Club Bruges pressure. Pass out to Maatsen, who desperately scrambles to keep the ball in play. Villa have it. Got to start again from the halfway line. Tielemans with his head up, looking for options, running from left to right inside the Club Bruges half. Here's Konza across to Kamara. Kamara plays it into central midfield. Knocked back to Konza again. Here's Kamara. 10 yards inside the Bruges half, wide to Nedeljkovic. Club Bruges have everything covered at the moment. Aston Villa just haven't been able to find a way through. Cross from deep, way over hit, behind for the goal kick, sums up the Villa night.
Yeah, awful cross, difficult crossing position, but diagonal ball hit 20 yards over John Duran's head. And Club Bruges, their fans making the noise. They'll be absolutely delighted with the performance and the points.
They will go level on points on 6 with Barcelona, Benfica, Real Madrid, AC Milan and Feyenoord. Benfica away to Bayern tonight. Barcelona away to Red Star Belgrade. PSG against Atletico is a big one. We've got full commentary on Inter against Arsenal. John Murray will keep you updated on everything that goes on throughout the night. Ball is just lumped forward into the Villa half. Maatsen climbs, wins a header, nods it down to Pau Torres. We're heading towards the 89th minute of the game. Referee leaps out of the way. Buendia, clever pass round the corner here. Maatsen slides it forward to Duran, takes it on. Did he time that well, Mekela, with the challenge? He did, says the referee. Then it's a lovely touch from Mekela. Saw Maatsen coming in with the challenge, darts inside. Maatsen goes flying past him, and in the end, Club Bruges win themselves a throw.
You know what? It's a really clever ball from Buendia to release Maatsen, who slid a ball into the channel. It was majestic, wasn't it, from Mekela getting across.
Throw in taken by Club Bruges. Header initially won.
It's a silly one. That's a really
by Villa,
daft challenge
foul on
from
Ramsey. Yeah,
from size. It just allows Villa to put a ball into the box. They haven't looked like carving Club Brugge open. Maybe it'll be a set piece.
Late change. Centre forward is coming off. Ferran Yukla, who's been full of running for Club Brugge. Romeo Fermant is coming on. Another Club Brugge Academy product. Just 20 years old. Son of Sven Fermant, who I know Chris will remember. Former Belgium international. Over 300 games for Club Brugge.
Oh, yeah,
Sven?
the former Belgian... Yes, I do, yeah. Former Belgian international, yeah.
90th minute of the game. Club Brugge 1, Villa 0. And it's been pretty disappointing from Aston Villa, you have to say. This is certainly not what we've seen from them in the Champions League so far this season. That's a poor ball into the edge of the box, easily dealt with.
Just a lack of quality. Bruce, all evening from Aston Villa. It looks like they're a team who, at times this evening, haven't played together before.
Pau Torres looking for the run of Buendia. No way through there. Sace clears with his left foot. Chased by the substitute Fermant. Konza controls it, facing his own goal. Fermant tugs his shirt. That's going to be a free kick to Aston Villa. We're ticking over into added time. Club Brugge leading Villa by a goal to 0, and we're 25 minutes away from kick-off in the San Siro. Inter Milan against Arsenal. Your second Champions League commentary on 5 Live this evening. 5 minutes of added time. That's all Aston Villa have got to try and do something about this. Try and get themselves a point from tonight's game. It's
another wayward pass, a forced ball.
Buendia, first touch was a poor one. He's given the ball away. Yashari is there, picks up possession, tackled by Nedeljkovic. Kamara towards Bailey, tries to get it back to Kamara, jumps in. That's going to be a foul. Some very theatrical rolling around on the halfway line from Vetlason. Yellow card for Boubacar Kamara. But the best thing for Club Brugge here is, slow the game down.
Yep, absolutely. Knows what he's doing there, Vetlason. He's slightly late. Kamara, he actually doesn't catch him. Vetlason rolling around, doesn't catch him at all.
Simulation game?
Yeah, we'll chuck him in. Vetlason, I think Kamara slightly harshly treated there. Got to say though, the difference, the recovery from Yashari there, gave the ball away, careless pass, but worked hard to win it back. Their endeavour, their work rate, the industry has been much greater than Aston Villa's.
Looks like it's going to be a first win over a Premier League team in 15 games in Europe. The last one of those was against Chelsea in the Cup Winners' Cup quarter-finals back in 1995, although they lost the tie 2-1 on aggregate. Tielemans playing out from deep. 5 minutes of added time, 3.5 of that to go. Club Brugge leading Aston Villa by a goal to 0. Pau Torres, now that is a good ball, chased by Matson. Little layback looking for Duran, brilliantly read inside the penalty area and cleared by Mekela again.
It's a great pass from Pau Torres. One of the only bits of quality we've seen this evening. Matson couldn't quite make the cross.
Villa throw. Only one thing we're going to be talking about in the Football Daily podcast in terms of our analysis of this game, just the crazy moment that's decided the game, the Tyrone Mings handball, inexplicable handball at the start of the second half. 3 minutes to play. Matson flicks it towards Ramsey. Ramsey infield to Tielemans, 40 yards from the Club Brugge goal. Pau Torres looking for quality in from the left. Cross doesn't reach Duran. Mekela heads it away. Tielemans charges in to win a header. Nods it sideways here to Kamara. Shakhtar 2, Young Boys 1, latest in the other early kick-off in the Champions League. 2.5 minutes to go. And Unai Emery is stomping up and down the touchline in Belgium at the moment. Face like thunder. Konza running forward with the ball. Another foul on Konza. Free kick for Aston Villa just inside the Club Brugge half. 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, and you just wonder, I mean, a real lack of urgency taking the free kick. There are seconds left. And Emi Martinez, I think he's telling him, get on with it.
Free kick's taken. Nedeljkovic plays it back to Tielemans. Tielemans is going to cross from deep. That's another terrible cross, which is kneed away on the edge of the box. It's played back to Kamara. Very little urgency, very little belief, not much energy in the Villa performance tonight. Inside their own half, Tielemans with his right foot, Buendia's flick on, Bailey won't get onto that. Couple of headers at the back for Club Brugge, out it goes for a throw-in to Villa, 90 seconds to play.
This is it now, isn't it, for Villa? Buendia on the ball.
Buendia dummies across with his right foot, beats his man outside of the right boot, rolls it into midfield. Matson is there, plays it back to Konza. Less than 90 seconds to go. Club Brugge 1, Villa 0. Back heel from Buendia. Matson picks up again, central position 40 yards out. Tielemans looking for the run from Nedeljkovic. Little touch and turn from Nedeljkovic, bit too obvious, tackled and cleared up towards the halfway line. Konza comes across, deals with that for Villa. Oh, he put an arm up to try and hold off his man. He's caught him right in the face there. The referee's going to stop the game.
I think that's harsh. I really do. Konza does catch the Bruges player in the face. It's not thrown an elbow, it's an arm out to just fend off.
Yeah.
It's a hand to the face of Vermaat. And Bruges really happy with this. Konza frustrated. They'll just run the clock down. Club Bruges.
You saw, Chris, Unai Emery, a couple of minutes after Villa had conceded the goal, eventually the referee sort of came over to tell him to calm down. He was making his point about the goal that Villa conceded. I really don't think Aston Villa can have any complaints, can they?
Well, I don't think so. And, you know, all the talk will be about the goal, but the performance hasn't been there. I think Club Brugge have been the better team, the hungrier team, had greater quality than Aston Villa. And Aston Villa just, you know, a game where you think if they'd have won tonight, they'd have been guaranteed, I think, certainly qualification into into one of the next rounds of the Champions League.
Unai Emery reckons 16 or 17 points will probably be enough for top 8. Aston Villa are on 9. There are 4 games remaining. Juventus home, Leipzig away, Monaco away, Celtic at home. You can hear the Club Bruges fans singing loud and proud. No football at the moment. We're beyond the period of added time, but that has taken a minute to deal with. And now Club Brugge take their free kick, and I think we've got about a minute to go here. But the ball is deep inside the Villa half, and Club Brugge are just going to try and keep it and get themselves to 6 points in this Champions League table and give themselves a better chance of qualification for the last 16 after all 8 group games are played. Nedeljkovic heads the ball away for Villa. Bailey is back there, wins it, and then it comes off a back heel and goes out for a throw into Club Brugge, and the home fans roar again.
Yeah, and that was clumsy from Leon Bailey. Sums up his night, sums up Aston Villa's night. In the corner, aren't they? Club Brugge running the clock down. No rush to take the throw in.
Shakhtar Donetsk are beaten Young Boys by 2-1. Club Brugge are about to get their win over Aston Villa. There goes the full-time whistle in Belgium, and Aston Villa's 100% record in the Champions League this season comes to an end in bizarre fashion. They lose 1-0 to Club Brugge, conceding a penalty early in the second half, where Tyrone Mings, I just do not know what he was thinking. He wasn't thinking. He must have believed the game wasn't being restarted. Emi Martinez took the goal kick. Mings bends down, touches the ball with his left hand to sort of give it back to Martinez to start the game again. Villa weren't at it tonight, Chris Sutton, but that is what cost them the game.
Absolutely bonkers, wasn't it? Madness from Mings. But I think, you know, the wider point is I think Villa tonight got what they deserved. Club Brugge were the better team, greater endeavour, greater industry, greater quality than Aston Villa. Villa going through a phase in the season where it all seems like it's a little bit flat, but Club Brugge deserve the victory. 4 games without a win for Aston Villa. Emi Martinez, the Villa keeper, deep in conversation with the officials here, talking about that bizarre incident that has seen Villa beaten tonight for the Champions League in the first time this season. They now have to think about Liverpool away in the Premier League on Saturday. Beaten in Belgium tonight. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0.